Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. In this series of videos, we're going to be looking at the effects inside the Boss Katana. Now, we're not only going to look at what the effects are and what they do, we're also going to be looking at how to dial in a great sound by using those effects. If you like what we do, it would really help us if you liked and subscribed, and also click on the little bell button, which will inform you of any future videos that come out from the Studio Rats. So the effect we're going to be looking at today is chorus. So what does chorus sound like? Well, here's my clean sound before I've added the chorus. Now let's bring it in. And like this. Now, what is chorus? Chorus is a time-based effect. So I guess you could explain chorus by saying it sounds like a 12-string guitar. So what this chorus is doing is it's splitting it into two different frequencies, and it's adjusting the time and the modulation of each frequency. So let's have a quick look at the different sounds. What I'm going to do is to turn down the low rate and the high rate and the high depth. So initially we get this sort of hollow, phasey sort of sound. Now, what we can do with chorus is if I speed up the pre-delay to its maximum setting, so on this is 40 milliseconds, we get a sort of doubling effect. So now what we can do to the chorus is to adjust the rate and the depth to create that modulation. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn up the low rate to about 50 and the high rate a little bit less than that. Now let's turn up the high depth and the low depth. Now we want these slightly different as we want them interacting with each other. Now have a listen how that sounds. So if I bypass the effect, and bring it in, so there are a few parameters on this we need to have a look at. So the low rate is the speed of the modulation. The low depth is how far the modulation travels. The low pre-delay is the amount of time before the effect kicks in. So we get our clean signal and then the pre-delay adjusts at what point that effect comes in. The next thing we've got is low level. So this is the level of the low frequency chorus. So if I turn down the low and the high level, it's exactly the same as bypassing the effect. Let's bring in the effect. So if I speed up the low rate and the high rate, we get an almost rotary effect. And if I speed up the depth now, we almost get like a ring modulation effect. So the thing about the rate and the depth controls, if you want them to sound like a more traditional chorus sound, you need to be quite conservative with how far you push these. So the next control is the crossover point. Now this determines at what frequency the low chorus is and the high chorus is. So for instance, if I wind it up to say 4 kilohertz, we've almost got no effect on the low level. So we need to adjust this and keep it around say 500 hertz. Right, the next thing we've got is direct mix. Now this is the amount of clean signal that's going to come into the path. So this is 100% wet. Now when I'm playing this, I can almost feel a little bit of a delay while I'm playing. So we want some of that signal to come through, some of the direct signal to come through. So let's turn that up. And let's blend it back a bit. So you haven't just got to use the chorus effect on clean sounds, you can use it to create that 80s guitar sound as well, like this. So I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. Join me in the next video where I'm going to be looking at more effects from the Boss Katana, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.